Welcome back. In this video, we're gonna talk about context in Android. You probably have seen, or you will be seeing, a lot of context being passed around when developing Android applications, and it can be a very confusing concept at first. But I want to assure you it's not as confusing as it may seem. Now let's go ahead and create an example here. We've talked a little bit about the Toast class, which displays small short messages on the screen, so we can give feedback to users. So the way we've been creating toast.makeText, and then we pass in our context. As you can see here, our IDE, Android Studio, tells us what we're supposed to pass inside of this make text method here. So it says context, get application context function there, and then we put our message, hello, and then the duration by saying toast, that length will get long, and then we have to show our toast, which is great. But again, we have this get application context here. So a context in general in Android, it's a class or an object that allows access to app-specific resources and also allows us to interact with other app components, access and environment information as well. And I know that may sound like, oh, okay, that's a lot of information. I have no idea. Don't worry. As we progress in our development, we'll use a lot of context, and you will then start understanding exactly what it means. But for now, just think of it as a way, in this case, to say, okay, with our toast, the toast could ask, well, if you want me to show text, in which context am I being asked to make a text, right? So I need a context. It's like when you're talking to somebody and somebody else comes in who hasn't been following that conversation, and you talk about, well, the house was really big, and the new person that came in could just be very confused, say, well, what house? I mean, what are you talking about? So that question of what you're talking about, the same thing. That person needs a context, needs some sort of deeper overview of what has been talked about in order to understand and jump in and do something. So that's essentially what a context, even in Android here, means. It means that this toast.makeText needs a context, needs to know where, or text that we are going to display, where is it going to be displayed at. The other way you also get the context is by just calling the activity, right? Well, again, because main activity, it is the context of this window, of this activity, of this view here. So we could very well just say, pass in here, main activity. Now in this case we have to say dot this to specify we're talking about this here. Or we can just say this also means this main activity here is the same as just this one line here. So you see why I like using this one liner here as opposed to creating the object and start setting everything. You can do whichever way you prefer, but I like this one here because it's more compact and easier to do. Excellent. So you have that. Now there's the other thing here look at is if we are inside of our main class, main activity here, instead of this onCreate void, you notice that it's all good. We are able to just reference or put this or main activity or get application context inside of our toast for things to work. But let's say we have actually a class, and in our class here, let's create a class. Let's call class my class. Just put a very simple function here, show toast, and all it's going to do is we're going to here and create our toast. So toast dot text, of course we pass the message, and then of course the duration. So toast dot long. So now you see we have a problem here. The reason being is because we are in a different class, which is my class. The context cannot be this, because this would imply we're talking about this class here. But what we want to pass in as a context is the class my activity, because that's where everything runs and shows in our views. And the best way to solve this, you can just say then get application context. You see now the error we were having, it's gone, because it says, okay, I get what you're saying. Now you're saying that to create this toast here message, I'm going to go and get my application const, which is the global application here, which includes this main activity. So if we were to come here then and instantiate this class here, which has this show toast method, we can say then my class is equal to new my class. Now say my class dot show toast. It will work because we passed in the global get application context as opposed to this. So in this video, all we did, we went ahead and talked about this get application context and what a context is. It's a very important piece of information to have, because you will see this coming up many times as we progress in developing our Android applications. But now you have an introduction, an idea of what an application, a context is. All right, see you in the next video.